Hello, folks. Welcome back to the program. This is Chris live in central Pennsylvania with yet another one in our continuing series of interviews with South Africans who've come over to the U.S. under President Trump's refugee relocation program. And today, our guest, I'm calling her the Bluegrass Belle. This is Adriana, who's living in Kentucky here in eastern side of the United States, but she's in a different time zone than me, in the central time zone. Adriana, Merry Christmas to you. Gesende Kerstfeest and Hoogandit.
Hi, Chris. Thank you very much for the invite. And yes, thank you for the wishes. The same to you and happy birthday. And yes, now it's going very well. Thank you very much. We are very happy so far.
Well, thank you so much. I did interrupt you for just a second. I need to let people know so that, first off, we know the trouble I'm having with my internet service provider. So we are recording this. So if we get hung up, we'll be able to reload it later on. That's the first thing. Second thing is that Adriana doesn't have anything to put her phone on, so she's holding it. So she might get tired. The phone might go up and down a little bit during the stream. So don't lose anything of that. But we're not going to keep her all day because we don't want her to walk away and not be able to lift her arm up when this is done. So, when did you get over here? When did you arrive?
Our flight left on the 15th, and we arrived the evening of the 16th.
Oh my gosh. Well, as we say in German, you are nagelneu. You are brand new, nail new. 11,
Yes.
just 11 days in the country. My goodness. And you've got a Christmas tree up already. That's pretty awesome. Impressive. I'm surprised to see that. Wow. I mean, my first couple Christmas trees after I left home, I collected branches from tree sales lots and put them in a bucket and put some ornaments on them. They weren't proper trees. But so you've been here for just 11 days and you're really quick to come on the program. Thanks for offering to come on. When did you first find out about the program?
Well, Chris, first of all, about the tree, one of the agents gave it to us. And she came and donated the tree to us because we've got two little babies in the house. And she brought the tree to us. That was a nice blessing. The first time I heard about the program was in May. As a matter of fact, I wasn't a lot on the internet because I was working all the time. And I saw one of the streams that came through with your face on it. And then I got intrigued about the program. And I went and did some research and I started following your program and got sent in a statement of interest. And we waited, it was around about the 22nd of May that I've put in a statement of interest. And then we waited for a response. But in the meantime, I was doing research about the refugee program and followed your YouTube channel as one of Professor G. And then I went into all the places where I could find some information about the refugee programs, how it works, what it entails. Did my own homework. I didn't ask questions. I just followed all the YouTube information that you've put on the internet. And as I went through all the YouTube information, I would jot down certain points for myself to familiarize myself with the process. And yes, and that's how we started.
So whereabouts in South Africa are you from? Are you able to tell us that?
Yes, I can tell you. For the last year and a half, I was living in the Western Cape. Previously, we were in the Eastern Cape, originally from the Paarl area. We lived in the Paarl area for a very long time, where my husband was transferred to the Eastern Cape for a position that he applied for. And then we spent a couple of years in the Eastern Cape. And then actually today is exactly 2 years ago that he had a major stroke. And he passed away on the 30th of December 2023, a day before his 60th birthday. And yeah, but in any case, from there I moved back to the Western Cape to be close to my children. And it's been a hard 2 years that I've been through. There's a lot of ups and downs, and but yeah, we are here. We put our head down. We decided to do something. I needed to change in my life. I needed to focus on a better life because I was not going anywhere, and I was hitting the ceiling the whole time. And so we are very grateful that we are here and that we have an opportunity to make a change for a better life for ourselves. And we have just been very blessed up until we've decided to do the changes. It's been tough because we had to get rid of a lot of stuff. We had to let go of things. And we said to ourselves, we'll do whatever it takes to make it work.
Wow, that's an incredible story, Adriana. Thank you for sharing that, and my condolences on your loss. I mean, that's too soon. 59. That's I'm 59 again this year, so that's wow. I'm sorry for your loss. So that explains why you were in Eastern Cape. I understand now, but you're originally from the Paarl area and from the Western Cape, so so you went back to that area. And but you said kids are in the house. I mean, can you share the ages? I mean, kids get excited about Christmas. How old are these kids?
Yes, my children is very protective over their children. They wouldn't want me to talk too much about them, but yes, their ages are 2 and 4, and they are a bundle of joy and very energetic. And it was quite hectic on the flights, but we managed it.
Well, it's Christmas time. Don't give them too much chocolate if they're 2 and 4. They'll never go down. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I eat a lot of chocolate myself, so I can attest to that. I'm still a kid at heart. Well, gosh, that's a pretty incredible journey. So the 22nd of May is when you put the statement of interest in. And when was the first time they contacted you? Do you recall?
I was a little bit worried because there was nothing going on. But as I say, I'm a very proactive Google searcher, and so I actually followed the Amerikaner's website, and then there was this notification that came up that said that if you have submitted a statement of interest and you haven't heard anything as yet, you can follow this link. And I completed some of the questions on there. And then shortly after that, we received an email. And in that email, you had to actually write a persecution statement, and which we did, and we sent that in. And then our first time that I've got a phone call around September, and I couldn't take the call because I was busy driving, and I asked the lady to give me a call back later, which she did, but it wasn't immediately. It was a few days later I received a phone call. So my children actually received their phone call a day before mine, and then I received mine. And that was in September, and then we received our emails for the interviews, and then we got our links, and we started preparing. And I didn't have a cent to my name, but I had a vehicle. So when I received that notification, I immediately contacted We Buy Cars. I said to them, come, you need to come and buy my car, my baby. I had to sell my baby. And they came in, and then the worst part of it all is, for some other reason, I couldn't get a car started.
Oh, so they came to collect your car and you couldn't get it started.
Said to me, oh my word, I was so embarrassed. And okay, he's going to drive off first. He will contact me later. So I said, I have to make this work. It's just got to happen. So I was lucky enough to find a position where I had a company car. So I drove into town, and I went aboard one of these jumper packs. And I jump-started my vehicle, and then I pulled the car out because you couldn't get another vehicle to actually jumpstart it. So I had to get a jumpstart back. So I pulled the car out and I phoned the guy. He says to me, okay, he's around the corner, he's on his way. And so they came in and we did the transaction. I got the money. I went home. I booked my flights. I booked my hotel. And Bob's your uncle. I went. And so you can see we were very desperate. We said to ourselves, we're going to do whatever it takes and make it work. And so got to Pretoria. I booked into the worst part of Pretoria. The most dangerous part of it, Pretoria. I booked into a hotel.
Should have reached out to me. I know where the good places are.
I said to them, listen, am I going to be safe here? I addressed the staff. They said, as long as you stay in the hotel, ma'am, you'll be safe.
Oh, my goodness. Wow, that reminds me, I was in Durban 25 years ago, and I was hungry. It was late afternoon. And so I walked downstairs, and I started to walk out, and there was a black fellow working at the concierge at the desk. He says, where are you going? And I thought that's strange. He said, I'm just going out for a walk on the boardwalk. He goes, you can't go out. I'm like, why? Did something happen? No, it's not safe. You're white. I'm like, I'm in the Army. I think I can handle myself, you know. So I went out. I couldn't find anything to eat. So I came back, and that's when I had a fantastic Indian dinner that night with chicken madras. That's when I started my love affair with chicken madras 25 years ago at a holiday in Durban. So, okay, so we buy cars, took your car off your hand. All right, it's a bit unfair to ask this because it's just 11 days, but maybe 6 months down the road or a year down the road, it'd be a fairer question. But I mean, just 11 days in with all you've gone through, was it the right decision? Are you glad you made the decision to apply and come over?
I can't tell you how I was so excited. I was thrilled. All the types of emotions that you can imagine went through me. Sad, everything. But you know what? I'm not going to look back. And also, what's so interesting about this is that in my heart, I said to myself, I would love to be in Tennessee. I would so love to live there because I did a bit of a research on Tennessee. But I didn't ask anybody, you know, I want to be there, placed there or whatever. We just went with the program as it is and we trusted the process. And yeah, we are an hour away of Tennessee, and our flight from Newark International Airport, we landed in Nashville, and I was so ecstatic. And our driver picked us up, and my mouth was hanging open, and it's just huge, large, fast. Everything is working. The trucks are going past us. The flags are so big you can wrap a whole house in it. Everything is just fantastic. It's just huge. It's just a lot to take in. And I've noticed the sound. If you open the door, you just hear the sound of V8s and V12s. Vroom, vroom, everywhere. You'd see a bucky. It doesn't look like a bucky.
No, they're just a little bit bigger on this side. That's for darn sure.
Goodness, the sizes of these vehicles. And then there was one parked right at the bottom here where we live. It's humongous. I couldn't believe it. And then he starts it up and then everybody hears the noise. But I think most of the Americans are so used to this noise that the vehicles are making. I think everybody don't even notice it. But for us, we hear it, we run to the door.
Because you want to see what it is. Well, I have to. So Adriana, where I live at, I don't really hear the highway, even though it's, you know, geographically, if I go straight line, the highway is maybe 1.6 kilometers away, if that. but there's some elevation that comes up, and so the sound goes down. The valley doesn't come this way. There is an exception, though. There's a racetrack nearby, which is about 10 kilometers away, and because the angle of the mountains and the angle of the valleys and the sound, when they have the races throughout the summer, you hear this as they go around the racetrack. The first time it happened, like, what the hell is going on? There's some kids out racing in the neighborhood. That was a few years back. And I walked out and I'm listening. I'm like, what is that sound? And I'm listening. I'm like, oh, that's right. There's a racetrack down. I didn't realize the sound carried that far. But other than that, you know, I don't really hear the road. But that's the place I live. Every place different. But it's interesting you say how big things are, because that's just Kentucky and Tennessee. I mean, imagine if you got to Texas or Montana or Kansas. Things really look big in those places, pretty far apart. So let me ask this question. So far, you've had not a whole lot of interaction, I would imagine. Your refugee assistance officer, I'm going to guess they must be pretty good. They brought you a Christmas tree, and that was very nice. That's not required. But I mean, what's that been like? How's your reception been once you arrived there?
Excellent. Excellent. We didn't expect this. We didn't put any expectations. We just went with the flow, and we were picked up. We were very exhausted, and when we drove into Bowling Green, Kentucky, the area where we live, they stopped at a restaurant because they booked a meal for us, and the meal had to be picked up at a certain time because they worked out the time frame that we were here. And then they picked up the meal for us. It was chicken strips with sauces and dips and things. And then they brought us to the house. And when we walked, we didn't expect this. It's a modern house. This place has been built a year ago. It's very modern. The microwave is so big I can climb inside that microwave. That's how big it is. It's humongous, and we've got a stove with a and a tractor fan. We've got a dishwasher. The only thing that I forgot was a fridge. But we weren't worried about that. We were so tired. We went and had a shower and got into bed. We had beds. The beds were ready for us. There's a lounge suite here. There's a dining room set. All the basic stuff was here. There was a few things that I missed. But we understood, you know, because I had to do things prepare things. And then we were told that they're going to deliver our groceries at around about 5 p.m. But we so dear recall, we didn't know what the time was, where. We were just very tired. And I thought, you know, there's one little duvet. I'm going to be cold. So I dressed warm and I got into the bed and I was starting to sweat. And I thought, what the hell's going on? And then it's the central heating system.
Oops.
And I was just lying underneath the duvet, and then I realized, listen, you don't need all this stuff. And then somebody knocked on the door, and I came running, and I hear this noise, but I'm so confused because they said to me, they told us that the lady is going to come and see us at 10 o'clock. So I'm thinking, oh my word, we overslept, and I'm opening this door, and there's this neighbor standing here, and all the groceries is in front of the door.
Oh, wow. That's so nice. Wow, it looks like you've had a really good start to a good arrival there.
Yes, and then I said to her, good morning, but it was still evening, and
well,
I packed all the groceries out and went back to bed.
So, you know, a nice thing about this, too, is with the grandkids just being the young ages they are, it's not like they're 10 or 12 expecting a lot of stuff at Christmas time. So it's actually a good Christmas to actually move if you're going to move. They get a little bit older, their expectations might be a little bit higher.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, like, it's life. That's how life is. But the most important factor is that we are safe, yeah, and that we have an opportunity to work, because at the end of the day, the basic needs of a human being needs to be able to work, to look after yourself, to have a roof over your head, to have a safe environment to live in, and to be able to put bread on the table, which we realized South Africa, and I love South Africa. I'm crazy about my country because, it's very hard sort to see what is going on. But we did struggle. We struggled a lot. And I said to my child one day, I said to him, you know what, we're not supposed to be struggling like this. It's not right.
No, it's not right.
But
And it's also not necessary. Things could turn around in a heartbeat if only the right people were running that country. But they're not, and that's the problem. Of course, we had a similar problem in America. We almost fell off a cliff ourselves a couple of years ago with Sleepy Joe, but we're back on the right track. A lot of people in the chat are saying it sounds like you're very happy. I know it's just 11 days, but I get the impression you're very happy too, especially that broad smile you just put on your face.
We've got fantastic case workers, lovely young ladies, and they ask us all sorts of questions. They tell us if you have a problem, you can report us if you're not happy about anything. They disclose everything to us. We've been to the International Center here, and we did our orientation for doing an application to work and our CV. And they said normally they do that in 4 days, but with the Afrikaners, they found that they only need to do it in an hour and a half.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so they go through the whole process of what it is like to go and work and how do you apply and the times and when they actually pay you. So they usually work on a fortnight or weekly, and most people are getting fortnight payments. And they also explain to you how important it is to have a social security number, and also touched on hygiene and dress code and being on time for work, the basic stuff about that. Also, they have an assistance to help us with our CVs. And there is other families, South African families that arrived a few days after us, that's also living in the same complex. And we were with one of the other families, and we are 3 Afrikaner families that arrived in the last week or so. And there was another Afrikaner family that arrived about a month ago, and apparently they're doing very well. They've already got a vehicle. They've been working and they've been promoted as well. And yes, so it's us as Afrikaners. I feel that we do have all the knowledge and the experience. We can do the work. I think it's a matter of putting your head down and focus. And if you make a decision, stick to it. And it's a very golden rule in life. Don't go back on your word, and don't try and run back on the past. It's not going to help you at all. Stay focused on what you need to do and go for it.
Well, there's a couple things here I want to unpack. The first is that are you able to tell us the Refugee Assistance Agency? You don't have to disclose their agents' names, but we like to tell people good news stories. Like I just talked about IRC out there in California, who had an agent who wasn't doing the best job, but then they got on top of it, and also mentioned a group down in Austin, Texas that did some good work. But since you're having good experience, can you tell us who it is? Or if you're uncomfortable, you don't have to. But it'd be nice to know, to let people know the folks are doing a good job.
It's called the International Center in Bowling Green, and they're very clued up in what they do. They have English classes. They actually asked me if I would like to volunteer to assist with English classes, and I said to them, yes, I would like to. So they're closed now, but on Monday, I've already sent an email in to them with my certifications and diplomas and my CV, and asked them to assist me with that. But they said to me on Monday, we will communicate and we will take it from there. So we take it as it comes.
Well, that's great.
Also, it's the International Center. I don't know, that's what it's called, yeah.
Okay, no, but thank you for sharing that because we like to. The ones in Twin Falls are doing a brilliant job helping people as well. Hasn't been the case everywhere. That's why we try to. I don't call out the people doing a poor job unless they continue to do a poor job. I try to contact them and resolve issues for folks. But those doing a great job, we need to let them know about it. It sounds like the situation in Bowling Green is pretty well in hand with people experiencing and are certainly trying to help. Now, I should cover a couple things before I answer a question from Megan Ackerman, who asked a question here. But I want to. Do you own the store Ackerman's? I'm just Ackerman. She's Ackerman. But I need to address this very quickly, and that's the reason why that Adriana is getting classes about hygiene and about being at work on time is not meant to be insulting or condescending to South Africans. Understand that most people come here are alien to our culture. South Africans have a culture that's similar to Americans in many ways, but the program is set up for people from places that don't have electricity, that don't have functioning governments. They've been living in camps and tents for years. And if you live in a camp in Kenya for 9 years and you have children there and their only experience is living in a camp, they're using a pit latrine, they need to understand some of the cultural norms in America. You know, and I'm not to pick on Zimbabweans, but if you're South African, you know I'm telling the truth here. Zimbabwean men have this thing. They got a thing about wearing antiperspirant and deodorant. And boy, they lift their arms up, you get a whiff of that sometimes, a lot of Zimbabwean men. That's not a cultural norm here. And that's going to put, people are going to be like, whoa, they're going to not want to go near you. So the point of these things are not to insult people, but to share what the cultural norms are here in America. And I suspect that you took it in that light because it sounds like you didn't mind hearing those things.
Yes, it's generalization. It's not, and that again it proves to you that I don't discriminate. It's generalization and explaining how important it is if you should work in a factory, how important it is if you're going to work in a factory where you work with food production or something like that. It is required to follow hygienic rules. I mean, my late husband worked for Nestlé, and there was a continuous courses on food hygiene, and they were not allowed to wear jewelry or anything in these departments. And so that's basically what it's about, I mean, if you're going to come here, you're going to start with unskilled work, and unskilled work where you don't need a certification or a diploma or anything like that. It is a requirement that you follow certain rules, and especially coming here and in an unskilled position, you're most probably going to be in a manufacturing plant or something like that. Not I'm saying that everybody's going to land up there, but it's important to understand where they're coming from. And I didn't feel offended at all. I mean, like, it's good. It's good that they share that information with us.
Yeah, and that's my point. This is a program set up for people from all over the world, most of them coming from underdeveloped countries that don't have these sort of experiences. And so they just apply it generally, which is good. Now, Megan Ackerman's question, is it true that you only need a week's worth of clothes? I'm not sure where your question is coming from, but I think perhaps it's, do I need to overstuff my suitcases? No. In your suitcases, don't get carried away. Whatever clothing you want, unless you have something special. I mean, if you're coming from Germany to live in America and you can't get a dirndl here, it's very important you to have a dirndl for special occasions. You want to pack that. If there's something that's special importance to you, but you can also pay for extra bags, but that's on you at the airport. But look, in the Army, all I needed was 2 uniforms and 4 pairs of underwear and T-shirts, because I would rotate the uniform maybe every 4 or 5 days and wash the underclothing, wear them a day, and then do 3 days, sort of thing. Look, it's up to you what you wear, but there are also there's Goodwill here. There are clothing places where people give clothing if that's a thing. So I wouldn't worry about that. Take what's important to you. You get 23 kgs in your bag. And will there be a government shutdown? Yes, there might be a government shutdown. I've told everybody this since before they reached an agreement on the continuing resolution. And then when the continuing resolution was mentioned, everybody got excited. I said, okay, you get excited, but don't get too excited, because it's still not a budget to carry us for the rest of the fiscal year to 30 September. And its continuing resolution, which expires on January 30th. So there's a very real possibility that we won't have another one, and we're going to have a shutdown starting January 31st, which means that travel will probably stop around the 25th of January. So if you're in the hopper from the 5th to the 20th, 21st, then you're in good shape. But beyond that, cross your fingers. Or as they say in German, ich drücke die Daumen. I'm pushing the thumbs. All right, so I just want to cover that question very quickly because it keeps coming up, and I don't know why it's coming up. I guess a lot of people are new. They're not familiar with this. Okay, so Adriana, What was the most difficult thing for you in this process so far? You just having arrived, but you went through this, you put a statement of interest in back on May 22nd. You got called in September. I presume you didn't do an intake questionnaire in December or November. If you did, you can correct me. And then you didn't do it. And then you finally got over here just before Christmas. What was the most difficult thing? Was it leaving family and friends behind? Was it leaving South Africa? Was it getting rid of your car? I mean, what was the biggest challenge for you? I mean, there's got to be something that was a little frustrating and maybe just difficult to do.
The difficult part is the planning and to get everything in the right order, to know the when and what and how to do it. But today I must tell you, I lied to most of people. They ask me, why are you selling everything? I lied. Because they ask me, where are you going? You know, I would say, I'm going to Pretoria. I'm going to live all sorts of places. I didn't want to tell people where I was going. Lots of people eventually, I said to them, okay, we are going to the US. We're going to live in Texas. Because I've just felt, I don't need to explain what I'm busy doing. It's my life. It's my decision. I don't need to do that. So the difficult part was to actually try and protect myself from people wanting to know what you're up to. That's the difficult part, and to keep that pose, And I apologize to everybody who I lied to, but I had to do it for my own safety. And when people ask me, some of the people actually clicked and knew, okay, are you going on the Trump thing? I said, yes. Okay. Then I said, okay, yes. And when I asked me about it, I said, you know what? It's my decision. And most of them would say, good luck. I wish you all the best. You're going to a fantastic country. Some of them has been in the US, and they would say to me, it's a beautiful country to be in, and you're going to be very successful. And that was beautiful. That was nice. That was nice to hear. And it actually takes that little bit of stress off your shoulder to get some South Africans that actually are on your side and that say to you, I wish you all the best. That's fantastic to know. And I think to the people out there, don't be so worried about packing clothes. You can actually just, in the clothes that you are now, go. Don't worry about everything. Stop stressing about nitty-gritty stuff. Start focusing on the most important thing that you want to do in life. And that is to give yourself and your family a better future. That's where your focus should be. Clothes you can replace, food you can get, but a new life is an opportunity, it's a golden ticket. Mm-hmm. Take it, use it, and just go for it.
100%. From the very outset of this, on the 7th of February, when Trump announced this, 2 hours later, I was already live broadcasting, announcing this for South Africans. I told people from the outset that this is a program that will divide families. Some families won't recover from this because some members will want to come to America. Others will be adamantly against it. And my recommendation to people since then, and I've actually got cases where it was a problem. We've got one case where a gentleman lost his job because his sister had a big mouth and she was spiteful and she told his employer, and so he fired him. Still not in America. Hasn't had a job since March. How brutal and horrible is that to do that to your own sibling? So I said this will divide families. Keep it to yourself unless you absolutely have to tell someone. Like if you have a 92-year-old grand, Oma, maybe you need to tell her, but maybe you don't. But keep it. I have one family that didn't tell the Oma until the week before they left. But the good news for them is that they flew out of Cape Town. So they went down to Cape Town. They spent a week down there and they saw the Oma and said, we're leaving this week. And so, they'll probably never see her again, sadly. But the bottom line here is that it's your decision. It's your life. You're responsible for yourself. And I don't fault you at all, Adriana, what you did. I mean, if you have to lie to people because it's necessary to protect your safety, then there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You're not deceiving people out of malicious intent. You're deceiving people out of your safety and your need to get out of the country without any hindrance. And it worked. So, but if I heard you correctly, you had to fly up to Pretoria to leave because you flew out of Joburg?
Yes, our interviews were also in Pretoria, so my kids had to drive up to Pretoria for the interviews, and then I flew. And we also flew to Pretoria to where we left. And that same center that was raided, we were there just the day before that. And you see the importance of keeping your mouth shut.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and
That's
what have I said from the very beginning? What have I
it
always
could have
said? Yeah, it could have been you guys. I said from the very beginning, people shouldn't be discussing it. Now, to be fair, in that case, my concern is not the government of South Africa. They know where these locations are. The U.S. government has told them where they are. The officials who come over on diplomatic and official passports, and they come over with a visa granted by the South African government to conduct the business they're doing. So the South African government knew about this. This was all intentional on Geloftedag. That was the purpose of it. But the reason I didn't want people to talk about the locations is that we have malicious actors from the EFF, other people who would want to come and harass people and threaten them. So that's why you don't talk about it. But yeah, so you were at that center just the day before. Wow, that's pretty incredible. Yeah, because they well, we won't talk about the operation. Leave that to News 24 to disclose that. They're busy exposing the program. But the bottom line here is that people need to be quiet about where they're going and what they're doing. And if you have to mislead people, that's a choice you have to make. And if you have a hard time telling lies, if there's one time in life, it's a time to do it. Now's the time to do it, because it's nobody's business where you're going, what you're doing. It's your life. Now you keep talking about your kids, but we're talking about adult kids here. So where your case is linked at some point, is that because you're in the same place? So obviously you're an adult. You're what you keep calling kids or adults because they've got kids. I hope you don't have 13-year-olds having kids. Anyway, so you must have linked your cases.
Yes, when I was in an interview, the lady from US Africa, no wait,
USCIS?
Yes, okay. They asked me, do I have family in America? I said no. And they also asked me, have I got any other family that's also on the program? Then I said, yeah, my children, they were there the day before. And then they asked me where are they I said to them they've already done their interviews, they've gone through everything already. And then they asked me, then I asked them, is there a possibility that we can travel together? And they said to me that if they link the cases. And I said to them, okay, but I don't know, how does it work? I don't want to be living with them, but if we can travel together, it will be nice. And that was it. And I never heard anything back about that. And but also in my first interview, the lady also took a little bit of my messages wrong. So when she wrote the incidents that I've actually persecution incidents, she also made a mistake with that. So, well, I didn't expect that our case is going to be linked, but at the end of the day, it got linked. And then in one of the interviews, my son asked if we're going to live together, and then I said yes. And that's a little bit of a we would have wanted to live separately, but we didn't expect that if your case linked, that you're going to travel and will live together. But in any case, we are making it work at this moment. But my caseworker is going to contact me on Monday. However, whatever comes, we will handle it as it goes.
But you did wind up pretty near where you hoped to go. You said you wanted to go to Tennessee, and you're like right on the doorstep. You're actually not that far from Fort Campbell. It's about an hour drive from where you're at. It's pretty close. So let me take care of a little bit of housekeeping here. Your video connection got hung up there, but we still got you. A little bit of housekeeping. Lioness says that she chatted to quite a few fellow Afrikaners who are not interested in the refugee program. Interesting to hear their opinions on the future of South Africa. I'd also be interested to hear their opinions of the program, because they were probably listening to propaganda and not knowing what the program is really all about. Angelique has a question, but let me deal with the super chat first. Phoenix says, thank you, Colonel and Adriana. This is fantastic interview and great advice from Adriana. Her positivity and happiness are a breath of fresh air. They indeed are. I would agree with that. And then there's one more question. This one's for you, Adriana. It's from Angelique Jansa van Rensburg. How did you know when to resign from your job? Did you have enough time to work, a month notice? What did you have to do? How did you handle that?
So, Angelique, what happened to me is I'm actually in a property industry. I'm a professional property practitioner, and I've done my NQF4 and NQF5, so I'm a principal property practitioner. And I was working for a real estate company, and I was really struggling. And then I applied for a position. But the thing is, during the time that I was waiting, I just said to myself, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to carry on with my life as normal. I applied for a position, and I got a position as a real estate property asset manager. A beautiful company that I worked with, a lovely boss. All the staff was great. I got on so well with them. And I actually resigned a month on the 11th of November. And my boss was extremely upset about that. And he came to talk to me, and I said to him, I just want you to understand, I'm not resigning because I'm leaving for another company. I love the company that I'm working for. And if I was staying in South Africa, I would continue with my job here. And then he said to me, okay, let's have a chat. And I told him exactly. I was very straightforward and honest with him. And I told him, okay, I applied for this program way back at the beginning of the year, and I didn't expect to hear from them. And now the opportunity has arrived, and I would like to take this opportunity and go with it. And I apologized that I told him, and I explained everything to him. And he was very happy for me. And he said to me, you're going to make a big, big success. And he's sorry to lose me because they couldn't find somebody that or shall I say, the position that I had. It's very difficult to find people with qualifications in that position. And I said to him, you know what, if I have to run from the US, I will do it from the US. But, and he was very understanding. And so I got a very nice goodbye and good luck and good well wishes and everything from them. And it made my heart happy because I didn't want to leave in a bad state, and I didn't want to have that animosity. So I think it's always important to have a bridge to go back on and never leave burning bridges behind you. So at the end of the day, it worked out very well. But also, I must say, I am a very religious person. I can't say that I'm a Christian, or I don't want to actually say that, yeah, okay, I'm the best Christian on earth, or whatever the case may be. I just do things my way. I'm very humble. I prayed about everything. I go and think about it. I don't make it rash. First, take time out, think about it, go and walk, take a breath, come back, make points, pray about it, leave it. I don't do anything. I leave it, and the answers come to me. And when the answers come to me, I make my decisions. And this is how I live. And this is how I will do it for the rest of my life, because it's working for me. I think find the medium that works for you. If you feel you need to resign from the job, do you want to take that risk? What is your relationship with your employer? If you feel you want to do it, that's up to you. But if you want to wait for your golden ticket that says this is the day that you're going to fly out, then I would suggest go and think about it, how you're going to approach it, and go and speak to your employer and then explain to them and resign. It depends on how you want to do it. You can't, we can't tell you what to do. It's for you to decide what feels right in your heart. Do it, take it, and do it.
That's great advice, Adriana. It's people should think, and then, people have asked me what they should do. I can't tell you. I don't know your relationship with the employer. I don't know if it's a family member or a family relation or a company you've worked for 30 years or for 5 minutes. So you have to judge it on your own and make the right choice there. Bitcoin JC sent a 50 Rand super chat saying, "We absolutely love your guest and how authentic she is. Please bring her back again." Well, I will ask Adriana to come back on the program, but I'm not going to put that demand on her in the next couple of days. Give her a chance to get settled down and figure out what's going on. Now, Werner Kruger said, "Chris, interesting point to share. My dad is," whoops, hang on, let me get back to, I lost it there. "My dad is a chemical engineer, so he's not dumb, but still believes Twatterboss is the cause of Trump acting with refugee program. Propaganda machine works. It works not sometimes, it works a lot. What I would recommend is that you tie your father down to a chair, then put my video on explaining what the United States has done vis-a-vis South Africa this year. It's a short video. It's about 9 minutes, 10 minutes, and let your father absorb that and then see what his opinion is. Twatterboss didn't even have contact with Elon Musk until after Trump announced this refugee program. So for people to believe that Twatterboss had anything to do with it is just hilarious and comical. The reason the United States is not happy with South Africa has nothing to do with Twatterboss, nothing to do with Elon Musk, nothing to do with Donald Trump. It's just that he's the one that finally took action. We've been pissed off and angry at the ANC since 2001, since 9/11. Their actions against the United States have been reprehensible. They undermine our national interests, our friends, partners, allies. They have colluded with terrorist states like Tehran, supporters of terror. So it's nothing to do with that. And if people want to believe that, that shows the propaganda is working. Let me see. Based on what Neff is saying, that based on what he hears, it sounds like you had enough time for a heads up from the U.S. to allow for proper notice. Well, some people don't get that notice. Some people have, we need you to leave next week. That's happened in the rush to get people out. But it sounds like in your case, Adriana, you had enough time to get your affairs in order.
Yes, you know what? I took it day by day. And how do you eat the elephant? Little bit by little bit. You cannot do it immediately. Prepare yourself. Like I followed your advice. Get rid of the nitty-gritty stuff that you don't need in life. In any case, if you die, you can't take it to your grave. So why do you want to hang on to it? So I got rid of the stuff over it. Since I applied, I started getting rid of rubbish and stuff and things. I had so many Tupperware containers, it was coming out of my ears. But I got rid of it. I got rid of the things that I don't need. Because as I said before, and I'm saying it again, it's not going to make you richer, it's not going to make you poorer, and it's not going to bring you to the USA. USA has got lots of Tupperware, there's lots of clothing here, and so much food. And we went to Walmart. I couldn't believe the amount of coffees that you get, the amount of porridge, the different types of porridges. You have to educate yourself.
Well, you stand in the row at the grocery store looking at the 185 different types of cereal for breakfast.
It's terrible. I don't think where's the Kellogg's? I'm looking for Kellogg's.
There's lots of Kellogg's. There's about 95 Kellogg's brands up there. You know, I hope we have Tupperware in America. We invented Tupperware. It's an American product. So Sammy says that they're very. Sammy says very grateful. The whole family of 20 people going over. Wow, that's going to be crazy. Now, I think you've got a fan here, Adriana. Napoleon Dynamite says, I feel like Adriana should be a regular guest on your show. I would not miss any of your other guests if she replaces them. Sounds like you have a fan.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so, all right. But, I mean, they're okay. You're having great refugee assistance officers who really made a big difference. You wound up in a good spot. You feel safe where you're at. There's not drug dealers and prostitutes outside the building. You're adjusting. It's been 11 days. They brought you a Christmas tree. You've had your first Christmas here. Things have gone pretty well. You're able to dispose of your things over there, other than your car not wanting to start when we bought cars showed up. It went pretty smoothly. You've left on a good terms with your employer in case you go back to South Africa at some point. But there's got to be something that didn't go quite right. I mean, was the wait nerve-wracking? It doesn't sound like it may not have been for you because you listened to my advice. You carried on with your life and you took it as it came. But was there anything in the program that maybe was a little frustrating or something like, oh gosh, what's going on here? I don't know. Or, I mean, is there anything about this whole process that you found frustrating?
Not knowing, the waiting.
Yeah.
Yo. The nerves, not knowing. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Okay, but you know what? We have a contingency plan in place. And, but yeah, not knowing, that's horrible. And when they said to us where we're going, the first thing we did was Google it immediately. So, okay, that was very frustrating. The flight was very long, but it was a positive. It's a positive thing, even though it was long. And oh, I need to say this. When we arrived in the US and the sun was just coming over the horizon and we saw the skyscrapers of New York, wow, that was just awesome. Everybody in the plane was so excited, and just to have a look, and you see everywhere. We flew over a part of the US, and you just see the snow patches. Oh, it was so stunning. And then when we landed, the frustration was the going between the flights and getting off the flight and carrying all these bags and luggage and things. And I would actually say, you know what, I would have just come with the pair of clothes that I had on, because it was nice to have my clothes. Yeah, it's fine, you know, because I packed in some winter stuff. And as a matter of fact, the hotel where we stayed before we flew out, I weighed the luggage again and it was still too overweight, and I checked some of the stuff out and I just left it in the hotel room. And the funny part of what happened was when we weighed my carry-on bag, I put it on the scale, and then my grandson climbing onto the scale. And then the lady said, "Ma'am, your luggage is too heavy. You can't go with this." And I realized, but actually my grandson is standing on the scale as well.
That's funny. That's funny. Oh my goodness. Oh gosh.
You can go. But yeah, frustrations, I think frustration is what everybody has been talking about, is the waiting and not knowing and not sure, because you don't know. This is a blank canvas. So you're sitting in South Africa and you don't know what it's like in the US. It's a blank canvas. And the moment you start arriving, you start filling in the canvas. You start putting the things in place. And it starts making sense. And once you're here, you actually realize that what Chris Wyatt has been telling you has come alive. So this is how you should look at it. I say, yes, you're going to have frustrations, but stay focused. Stay focused on what you want to achieve. That's all advice I can give.
Well, that's really good advice. And actually, you know, I hadn't thought about it because, I mean, I've flown into Newark so many times, and it's JFK and LaGuardia, been to all those places, as well as Nashville Airport. I hadn't really thought about it. But for South Africans who fly to Atlanta, you get kind of cheated, because when you land in America, especially like, you know, maybe your kids, it's the first time, I don't know, coming to America, and you're in Newark, you look across, you see the Statue of Liberty on Liberty Island. You also see Manhattan, and it's just it's amazing. It's a heck of a sight. I mean, and with the New World Trade Center that just gleams because it's all glass. It's so I can appreciate that, particularly with the sunrise, and that's got to be a pretty incredible sight. For me, it's just old hat. I've done it hundreds of times. But it still gets my attention. But I don't think about that, so that's pretty cool. And let's see. So Kati Van Diban says, "Oh my word, you're so similar to me. I don't care about materialistic things. Will come with the clothes on my back. New start." Yeah, I think that's a fair point. But yeah, folks, you remember that when you come through airports, you have to check your bags and you have to make sure everything's there. But that is a funny story about your grandson standing on a scale. That's hilarious. Anyway, gosh. So let's see. We've covered the good, the bad, the ugly. There hasn't been too much ugly and very little bad, mostly good. And you seem very happy. I'm guessing your kids feel the same way. I mean, did they feel under pressure in South Africa, and now they're thrilled to be in the U.S.?
Yes, I did. And I've got young children. They they were involved with the community and things like that where they were, and they would like to do that again. They're very humble children, but they do a lot. They are in the medical industry, and my son is an advanced life support medic, so and he's very proactive. He's proactive. He doesn't sit on his butt and wait something to happen. He gets it going. He just gets it going. He got a washing machine, a dryer, sorted out. Somebody came and did it, went and fetched it for him, dropped it off. We actually met up with a Uber driver. He is from Afghanistan, and he helped us so much. He took us for a drive and everything, and he helped us so much, and he doesn't want anything in return for that. And but my son, that is my son. He likes to be proactive, and that's the thing, you know. Be proactive. Don't sit on your butt, and don't expect everybody else to do things for you. You have to go out there and make it work for yourself. That's it.
Well, you know, it's interesting. If I understood correctly, your son is an EMT or something like that, emergency medical. That's what he does. Yeah. Well,
Yes.
yesterday on the Christmas program, we had one of our viewers who's also in Kentucky, whose daughter had an episode, and they called 911. They said they were there in 6 minutes. They weren't even trying to get anyone to come, and they came to take care of it. I mean, that's the kind of response we want to have for emergency medical services. That's just incredible. It's great to see that. So let me ask you a question about the flight. Do you know how many refugees were on your flight that came over the day you came over? Because you came over on the 16th, I think, or 15th, or something. Which day was it? Yeah.
Yeah, 40 people.
40 people came on that day. Were any of them Indian or colored or black?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. No, we
None of
ask
them were.
all the flights because that's a question that comes up repeatedly. So we know Indians have come over and blacks as well and coloreds.
There was, remember, on that flight, actually not on our flight, but on that particular day, there was also a flight leaving from Cape Town, and there was a colored family on that flight.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. Kind of weird how you had to go to Joburg when you were living in the Western Cape. That's what you had to do.
Oh, you know what? We don't worry because we actually did live in Joburg. I was born in Joburg. I was born in the western part of Johannesburg, the rough part of Joburg. So, yeah, I went to school there and did my primary and high school in Randfontein, to be exact. So, yeah, I knew Joburg, but I'm not so familiar with Pretoria. So it's fine. You know, I've got family still in South Africa, mainly in Gauteng area, but it's not a place that I would like to live anymore. They cope with it because they've been there all their lives. I left after school. I went to the Western Cape and started my life in the Western Cape.
Gotcha. Anya Bazietenhout gave a 14 Rand super sticker. Thank you for the Anya by a donkey. And there's a question here about 2 to 4 weeks after being notified. Okay, Leslie, I don't think that's the case, but I'm going to ask it. I think this is prompted because people get emails saying, be prepared, or get contact, be prepared to leave in 2 to 4 weeks. That, as I said before, that's a non sequitur. All they're doing is telling you is that you need to be ready. If you're not ready in 2 weeks, you're going to miss the boat. So if you're not ready in that 2 to 4 week period, you're going to miss the boat. But that doesn't mean you're going to leave in 2 to 4 weeks. Did you get a notification like that?
Yes. Okay. So they do ask you because we started in September, but all our interviews and everything was done in October. And then we first heard, we've got the 5th of December, we've got our email with regards to our flight. And then the week after that, the 10th, we did our orientation for the flight. And then we left on the 15th. But I would recommend, if you are in the program and you are busy with the process, get rid of the things that you don't really need. Wait until you get your confirmation of the flight. From there on, you're going to have enough time to prepare yourself to get rid of most of the stuff that you need to get rid of. Or if you do have family that you can depend on, that can courier it back to you at a later stage. Do your homework around that and get yourself prepared for that, so that when you are ready for your flight, and I think, travel with a bag that's got wheels. Don't travel with bags that you need to carry, because you need to move quickly between the one point of the way of arrival to your next flight. And very interesting that I saw here at, sorry that I'm mentioning it now, when we landed at Nashville, the same gate that we came in is the same gate where the next flight was waiting to board again. So yeah, just get ready with, I think wheelie bags are the best actually to go with. But if you feel you're strong in bags, then so be it. But as I say, bring stuff with that now for the day-to-day life that you can live off and use and wear or whatever. Don't worry about the other stuff. If you don't need it, get rid of it, or put it in a box and ask somebody to courier it for you at a later stage. But don't stress about the packing. It is a stressful thing to do, but it's stupid, to stress about it. The reason why I say that is that we tried to shrink wrap and all types of things, and at the end of the day, it just didn't work.
Don't shrink wrap. And don't wrap your bag in the plastic. That's just a rip off. I mean, if they just want to get in your bag, they're going to get in your bag. Just don't put valuable things in your bag. That's the bottom line. So let me address a couple housekeeping things here. Yes, you can ask where people are at, and sometimes we don't disclose. But in this case, she shared that she's living in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is located close to the Tennessee border in the southern portion of Kentucky, not too far from Fort Campbell, about an hour away from there. Which is Fort Campbell is called Fort Campbell, Kentucky, because the Army post office is in Kentucky, but most of the base is actually in Tennessee. So, the post office in Clarksville, Tennessee, but the base is mostly in Kentucky. So she's about an hour and a half from there. A number of refugees have shown up in that area as well. Of course, now the city of Bowling Green is pretty famous. It has a Corvette connection. That's home to the assembly plant and the museum for the Corvette, for those interested in the Corvette. The National Corvette Museum is located there. The Beach Bend Raceway and Amusement Park is there. Western Kentucky University is also located there. It was a provisional capital for the Confederacy during the Civil War as well. About 79,000 people, plus a couple dozen Afrikaners now live in Bowling Green, so we have to add them to the total. But it's not massively large. And then the next question, I just really can't believe that people are walking to this 10 months after this has been announced, and I've been covering it 1,000 times, asking questions like, how much money can you leave the country with? Well, how much money you leave the country with has nothing to do with the United States. It has to do with South African law. You can take 25,000 Rand out of the country. In the U.S., you can bring in $10,000 cash or equivalent. So if you have Krugerrands and their value has to be considered, you can bring $10,000 into the country without declaring it. So you can walk in and have $10,000 cash in your pocket and not say a thing. If you have $10,001, you fail to declare it, you're in trouble. You must declare it. That doesn't mean you'll pay a duty on it. It just means you have to declare it. We have to keep track of movement of money and resources coming in and out of the country. So you're able to bring cash with you. But the smarter move is to have a account like Capitec or something like that where you can transfer it to a U.S. bank at a minimal cost. That's a much smarter way to do it. Carrying a lot of cash is not a smart thing. But you should have some cash on you. Understand that. Also, if you have a credit card, don't close all your South African bank accounts. Keep at least one of them open, because here's the thing. If you go to a place like Newark, which is where Adriana landed, you can't use cash to buy food. They won't accept cash in the airport. Those bastards only take credit cards, which, by the way, is illegal, but they get away with it. If you get there after an 18-hour flight, and say in Adriana's case, her connecting flight wasn't for 6 hours, and you got hungry kids who are screaming, you're screwed. You're screwed because they only take credit cards. They won't take cash, and that's just a word of advice. Atlanta, I think, you can still use cash in many of the shops, but in Newark, you can't do it. Anyway, Adriana, anything I just say conflict with what your experience was?
No, not at all. You're spot on everything that you say, Chris, and you've got a wide range of experience and knowledge on everything, and we've got a lot of respect for that. And the reason why I agreed to come on the show is my way of contributing to what you are aiming to achieve and achieve with this program. And we are very grateful. We are very grateful for what we've got so far. I cannot complain. They dropped off another bunch of groceries here for us. We've got so much groceries, there's no space in our fridge for everything.
Well,
And we
tell them they can
had
leave them in my place because they're getting expensive. I could use some spare groceries.
we had such a large chicken, it looks like a turkey. We still have food left over of yesterday, so we're going to make some chicken mayo sandwiches later with that. And we walk. I walk. There's a gym close by. I went to the gym here the other day, and that was so funny. The lady said to me, because I only went in there, it was very cold that day, so I had a t-shirt on, a long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a jacket, and a beanie. So walking there, I said to her, now I just want to know how your gym works. If you can just give me some advice. She looked at me, she says to me, oh, you're so all bundled up. I realized I must look terrible.
So that begs the question, how are you finding the Southern accent? Are you understanding it okay? Because it's not a deep accent in Tennessee, in Kentucky.
When I actually went to the mall the other day and I wanted to get a bottle of water, I asked the lady, can I have a bottle of water? She looks at me and I thought, no, doesn't she understand what I'm saying? I said, water, can I have water, please? And she went to the fridge and she's pointing. Pepsi? No. Then the one next door? This one? No. That one? Yes. Oh, water!
Oh, my goodness.
I was saying water. So, yeah, we have to get used to that. And the other thing is, I bought some nice stuff for my kids and grandchildren it was just something that I wanted to give them. And I went into the store and this lady asked me if she can help me. I said, yes, please, I'm looking for something specific. And 4 of them came, yes, let's help. Would this work and would this work, and suggestions, and I bring everybody on the floor was helping me trying to decide what to get, and so friendly and helpful, and it was just awesome. And also the other thing is, you walk in the mall, everybody is respectful. They don't bump you out of the way and push you and grab things in front of you. They just say, I'm standing and I'm looking at a product, and the other lady says, oh, sorry, you also want to have a look, and she minds her way. I said, no, it's so decent. It's decent humans that you deal with. It's not hooligans.
No, it's nice to see. It's a nice change of pace for people who aren't accustomed to see it on a daily basis. I mean, as an American, I'm accustomed to that politeness and hospitality. Americans get this unearned reputation about being arrogant and rude and that sort of thing, and that's simply not true. It's a stereotype that's portrayed. There's obviously rude people in every society, but most Americans go out of their way to help people. I mean, look, I was at the Veterans Organization last night because we opened on Christmas. And the last time I can recall people singing to me on my birthday, a group of people, was when I was 7 years old. Last night, and there's a few people that don't like me because I've instilled discipline and I've been kicking people out, or we've been kicking people out for misbehaving. So some people, their feelings are hurt about that. But even they last night, a group of about 30 plus people just broke into a happy birthday, sang to me at the club. I mean, I was astonished by that. I didn't expect that. Americans can be very generous and kind. In fact, I mean, I got a car for Christmas. Did you hear about that? I got a car. I got a Land Rover. They gave me a Land Rover. So here it is. Here's my Land Rover.
You can frame that.
Yeah, that's my birthday or Christmas gift. So that's what I got for Christmas. Well, listen, I think we could talk for ages, but let's hang on. I think my tab crashed here. Let me just make sure it's still going. Come on. Perfect timing. Just when I want to say something important, it does that crap. There we go. It's coming back now. I'll see if we're still live. No, are we still live? Folks, are we still live? We are still live. Sorry. I have trouble with my internet service provider. So, all right. So we could talk for hours. It sounds like you're a lovely lady. Several people said, what a classy lady and what a lovely person to listen to. But Adriana, normally I put you up on the screen, but your connection is not great. So I'm going to leave both of us on the screen because when I put you full screen, it requires more bandwidth on your end. But I want to give you a last chance to share any thoughts about the program, about coming over, anything you'd like to share, maybe Christmas greetings or whatever you'd like to say. The floor is yours, and I'll just be quiet and give you a chance to say a few things. So the floor is yours.
Well, to my fellow South Africans in South Africa, it's currently there. Don't despair. I was in a very bad spot. I was down and out, and I was hoping something would come up and something would come and make a change in my life. And when I saw this opportunity, I grabbed it with both hands. It was a very difficult journey, but I want you to understand that if you want to do something, want to make a change in your life, it's only you that can do it. Nobody else can do it for you. And hold on to your faith and believe in the process, trust the process, because they're really going out of their way to assist us. The Amerikaners is doing whatever they can to assist us. And this program is a life-changing program. And if you feel you want to climb onto this train and take it, to grab it with both hands and don't look back. And be grateful, stay humble, be kind, and protect your privacy, protect yourself, protect your family, and stay focused on what you need to achieve.
Well, Adriana, I can see you're getting a little emotional, choked up there. So I do have a final question for you to get you back from that emotional cliff that you're approaching there. Are your kids in the room and off camera? Are they listening? Because we're just curious, because it's just you on the camera. We were just wondering.
No, they left.
Okay, they left. We're just checking.
They actually want to not be part of it. And
no, that's fine. No, we're just wondering if they're watching. Sometimes people are shy about being on camera in the same room, so we just wonder. So, blink twice if it's not safe. No, but so Adrian Fundeskyf said, "Can we ask something?" Well, you're gonna need to hurry, Adrian. I need to let the lady go. It's Boxing Day. She's got things to do. Ask your question. We'll give you a chance to get in here real quick. You should have asked it sooner, but go ahead. What's your question? Good advice, Adriana. I feel the same way. I need out of South Africa. My family are so blind to what's happening in South Africa, says Coco. Benjamin says, hi, Colonel and Adriana. This has to rate as one of the better interviews so far. Inspirational, factual, no nonsense, filler chatting. I approve. This was a rare compliment by Donkey. Moyoloop. Okay, well, thank you for that, Benjamin. Ingrid's inspiration says, oh, you have to make me do Afrikaans. Eindelijk verliek dit te horen. Ik had al gedink, daar is dalk food met mij. Good Lord. Allemaal praat van goed geld. Oh my goodness. They're all talking about big money. Some of them are. Okay, Adrian says, we're a family of 11. Wow. We received a call after approval to fly, but we're still waiting. Okay, that's not a question, Adrian. You had a question. That's a statement. What's your question? I give you one more chance here. You're going to miss your opportunity here while we still got Adriana on the phone. By the way, it's a lovely name, Adriana. Is any story to how your parents named you?
My grandmother was Adriana, and that's how I got it. And then when my husband and I, we just got married, we went for when we went to a Mediterranean cruise, and when we went to Europe, we saw these. There was places called Adriana, coffee shops with the name of Adriana, and it's also an Italian name, but I'm not necessarily Italian. My surname is actually, my maiden surname is Nortier, and but I also Googled that and I saw that there's a lot of Nortiers in America. But and we are actually from Europe, descent, but no, it's just that I'm with my grandmother. That was it.
No, that's fine. I just thought to ask it while I waited for his question. No, it's also a very common surname in Greece. Or not surname, a given name. It's a very common Christian name in Greece, Adriana. Very common there. So Adrian Fundeskyf said, I did ask, waiting since September, so worried paperwork lost. No. Any reason why we never received tickets? Well, you wouldn't receive tickets unless you've been approved and they've contacted you for departure. You don't get tickets just because you've done paperwork. That isn't how it works. No, it's okay, Adriana. It's because you type too many letters. You only get so many. Obviously, a lot of people rookies at YouTube here. You only get so many characters, and that's a question you can ask anytime, Adrian Funder's. If it doesn't have to be, we don't have to keep. We don't have to keep Adriana here. So, well, no, you receive provisional approval. Nothing is anything until you've been contacted and given a flight date. Okay, and there are hundreds of people that are in your situation, if not a few thousand. It's just a question of absorptive capacity and the ability to do this. Remember, this program is not funded. The president suspended funding, then restored funding, but there was no money set aside for this, and we're still operating under a previous year's budget. We don't have a budget for this, so they're robbing Peter to pay Paul to find money to move people. So the fact that anybody's coming over in itself is a small miracle in and of itself. I would say, Adriana Funder's, do not panic, be patient, and just hope for the best. That's all you can do, because you can send them emails, but they're not going to answer them. All you're doing is clogging up their email system. All right, so Adriana, I want to thank you. Bye Donkey for coming on. I appreciate it. If there's any other folks there in Bowling Green that would like to come on, tell them not to be shy. Come on the program. If they've got concerns, I can also do anonymous. We make up names for people. Yesterday at Christmas, Yana Mariki joined me. Of course, that's not Yana Mariki. It's Willem and Kara. They finally went public later on. But we can hide people's names and make names up for them if they want. But the more people that talk about their experiences, the better others understand what's going on. And the more truth that gets out there, and we get rid of the nonsense. Notice, Adriana, I asked you about bad things too. I didn't just want to know what happened good. I want to know if anything bad happened, because we have to tell people about that. But thank you very much, Kia Lebois. Bye, Donkey. I really appreciate you being here, and thanks for sharing your experience. I think a lot of people really enjoyed this conversation today, and I hope that you have a blessed New Year, and I look forward to hearing from you again about what's going on your neck of the woods, and I'd love to hear that your kids are doing well as the grandkids.
Thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate the opportunity that you take the time to interview me, and it just shows you what type of person that you really are, that you are concerned, and that you want to know what happens to us and where we are at. And thank you for the audience for being here, and good luck to all of you. I wish you all the best, and festive season ahead. And may the new year be blessed and only bring goodwill to everybody.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'll let you drop off the program, Adriana. And now you know how to set your screen so it's auto rotates. So she learned something in today's broadcast. And that'll be great when you take photos of the kids, because you'll be able to rotate the right way. All right. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, folks. That was Adriana in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Let's see if she can get out of the stream okay on her own, or maybe I can help her really quickly. Let me see. I'll take care of that. Okay. There we go. So she's out of the screen. Well, I want to thank my guest, Adriana, for sharing her experiences as a refugee coming over. Just 11 days in country, folks. Look, lots of stuff was said in the chat. That's after I applied. No, you didn't apply. Nobody applied with a statement of interest. It was a statement of interest. If you have not come over, if you've not been interviewed in person by RSC or the Amerikaners or USCIS at this stage, and you have not submitted an intake questionnaire, which has been available since the 4th of November, you will never come over. Doesn't matter if you did a PRM email in February, March, or April, or you did a statement of interest from May until November. It does not matter. You must go back and do the intake questionnaire. So that's the first thing. If you've done that, please be patient. That's only been available for a month and a half, the intake questionnaire. It takes time. If you've submitted, you've gone things, you've been interviewed, you've gotten a provisional approval letter, it doesn't mean you're coming over yet. It just means you've been approved for coming over. There is a queue. There are things to do. And everyone likes to tell the anecdotal stories. Oh, those people applied 3 weeks ago and they came over. I don't know anyone that's been true. Someone claims that's true, but I've never spoken to a single refugee who told me that be the case. Lots of people like to say lots of things. And it really doesn't matter, because I don't control the program. You don't control the program. They control the program. And it doesn't matter what we say about it. They're running the program the way they're running it. I would run it very differently, but then I'm not in charge. If you want me in charge, you better start writing to Secretary Rubio at the American Embassy and ask them to get me involved. But anyway, let's see. Fantastic interview. Adriana and Colonel, would love her back on again. Yeah, it'd be great to have her back. LB says thanks to both. Great interview. The best for Adriana. She was very emotional there at the end. You notice that? You could see that. And Diana Thompson says, thank you, Adriana, for sharing. The best to you. And thank you, Chris, for inviting her to talk. Yeah, no, it was great of her to offer to come on. What a nice interview. People need to stop stressing. We can do all this and go through it without panicking. I agree with you, Conrad. I agree 100%. People wait many, many years to come to America. Nobody who's come to America has waited a year. in this program, not a single person. The longest anybody has waited to date is we had somebody that did a PRM email back in February, and they came over in September. So I think then that some did it in March and came in December. So about 8 or 9 months. That's pretty fast when you think about it. Love your sweater, Chris. Is a jumper. It's a well, we call it a pullover in German. It's a sweater. Yep. In Afrikaans, we call it a trui. Okay. You're very welcome, Ingrid. Okay. And Anton, hope you accept a big hug from man. No, I'm fine. I'm a hugger, man. I got no problem with that. Okay. Thank you for amazing interviews, says Monster Max. You're welcome. And then happy birthday. Thank you for that, Sharon Stone. I appreciate that. They will contact you on the new questionnaire. Keep the faith. Exactly. Trust the process, as Lili van de Plas says. Trust the process. That's all I can say. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Huh? I like this. It's actually it's nice quality. This is leather. Actually, leather up here. This portion here, the tabs right there. That's actually leather. It's really nice. Or suede. Yep. Would have loved to apply, but have a home bond and our beloved dogs. What do we do with debt? Well, debt is a problem between you and your bank in South Africa. That's all I can say about that. That's all. You just deleted your message. You deleted your message, but I saw your message, so I'll answer it. That debt is not a problem. We don't care about debt. That said, there are reciprocal agreements to go after debtors, so you should deal with your debt. No one should be a welcher on debt. That's a moral obligation, but it doesn't affect refugee status. Doesn't matter what you owe in South Africa. It doesn't affect it. As far as your dogs, pets can be brought over. People bring all kinds of pets over here, but you're gonna have to pay for it. Okay. I think Coco says 8 months. I got a call from CWSC. There you go. 8 months. And then Adriana says a no call again. Thanks for your patience. Adriana, I hope that you get a call soon so that you can tell me you got a call. That would be fantastic. I'd love nothing more than to hear that. So fingers crossed. Ich drücke die Daumen. Okay. All right. Okay. There's no age limit, Jules. Julius Rue, there's no age limit. There's no such thing as age limit. There's no limit if you have cancer. There's no limit if you're blind. There's no limit if you're disabled. There's no limit. It's just for refugees. This is not an immigration program. Guys, stop thinking about that. See, these are questions people who want to immigrate. We don't want immigrants. We're trying to rescue refugees, okay? We're trying to rescue refugees. There's no age limit. There's no skills limit. We don't care what your qualifications are for this program. You want to immigrate to America? We want PhDs. We want doctors. We want engineers. We want dentists. We want skilled people. We want coders. That's who we want to immigrate here. Refugees, that's not the case. Some refugees will be those people. Others will be people who have no skills, because that's just how things work. This is a program for people's lives are in peril, not an immigration program. If you want to immigrate, then do it. You got money? Buy the golden ticket. Trump, $1 million, you can come over here, okay? All right? There's no age limit. 85 doesn't matter. We have an 88-year-old woman who's come over. She's here in America now, 88 years old. Attached her case to her family. Came over here, 88 years old. There's no age limit. Why do people think that? Why do people think there's I have skills. We don't care if you can contribute. I mean, ultimately you do, but it doesn't get you in the door. I'm a civil engineer and I've got 10 million rand in the bank. Can I go to the front of the queue? Nope. You go behind the guy with no skills and missing all of his teeth because he grew up in the Western Cape in the Cape Flats. Doesn't make a difference. Yeah, but I'm colored. Yeah, and it's for racial minorities. But I thought it was only for farmers. No. But isn't it just for Afrikaners? No. But it's just for white South Africans? No. It's for Afrikaners and racial minorities suffering from unjust racial persecution. Now, after the raid on Woodmead, arguably it's for South Africans suffering from political persecution, because that was political persecution what occurred on the 16th of December on Geloftedag at Woodmead in Sandton, Johannesburg. So that's who the program is for. We have colors, we have Indians, we have even a few black South Africans who come over who are in interracial marriages. All right, guys, let's stop stressing. Let's start listening to facts. And for Werner Kruger, tie your father down, make him watch my video. Then ask him how Twatterboss has anything to do with this. Boy, people believe any bullshit that News 24 tells them. It's shocking. It's shocking. You were put in a spot yesterday when someone said there are South Africans coming back. Is it? No. Who? Who, Nina? Who? How are you put in the spot? What are the names of these South Africans that are coming back? See, this is all bullshit that comes from a story that was published about South Africans are coming back to South Africa. Yeah, from England, from Canada, from New Zealand, from Australia, to visit family for the holidays. And a few rich people relocating to South Africa. No, that's bullshit, Nina. Tell people you're a cockprodder. That's bullshit. Give me the names, tell me who they are, and tell me if they're refugees. Because they aren't refugees. There are no refugees coming back. That's utter bullshit. I want the names, because they don't exist. They can't give you that. It's nonsense. No, Barbie, don't write your comments in Afrikaans. There are people who are coming back because they're well off. Not refugees. Not refugees. Lorraine has been waiting 7 months. Okay. No, people will tell you whatever they want, and people will believe whatever they want to believe. But you know what? We deal with facts. We deal with facts. Yeah, exactly. Show the receipts. People are talking out their backside. Just like people saying Twatterboss is the reason why the United States is angry at South Africa. No, I have laid this out many, many times. I've made videos on it explaining, going all the way back to 2000 and 2001 when they refused to give us an Article 98 waiver protecting our military coming to South Africa. Ever since then. It started then, and it's got progressively worse. All these people coming back with those working H2A. Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, that's true. H2A come back. Sharon, I'm not disagreeing that colored people offer Connors. I'm not saying that. But the way that the order is written, that's how it's written down. Okay? They confuse people. I saw a video are immigrants, not refugees. I don't know what you mean, Anton. What immigrants? The issue is my dad has a bad case TDS, so he believes anything that strengthens his views. Well, then you can't help him. There's nothing you do to help your father then, Werner. That's on your father. If your father is irrational, there's nothing you can do about it. There are irrational people out there. Okay, so don't let him believe what he wants to believe. If he wants to believe that, and when the whole thing blows up and they're murdering people in the streets of South Africa, then he'll be like, oh, but what, and there's nothing you can do to help. You can't do anything about it. That's just the way things are, my friend. I'm sorry to hear that. Some people should get their goofball tattoo on their foreheads. Find better social circles, not the cock prodders. Yep. My daughter sent email now, needs some advice. She's in USA already. Don't know if my message came through. I can't find if you can just check. No, Lorraine, I have no way to check who's in the States unless they contact me. No, I've no, guys, I'm not an official of the U.S. government. I left the government service when I retired from the military. I know people in government, and sometimes I get answers, but I wouldn't be able to get an answer on that. That's not something I can answer on. What message is, Lorraine? Your message to your daughter? And I don't know, I mean, your message is very confusing to me. When did she arrive? Has she been here for 4 months? You haven't heard from her? Did she arrive, on the 16th? You haven't heard from her? I don't know. What if you're personally damaged from violence? People with such PTSD that they cannot work, disabled parents. Well, Snippets, I really can't answer that question without a specific case. We have people who are handicapped who can't work who come over here. So I don't understand what your question is. I'm in Durban, mix up, wrong PMP shopping order. They shop for you in Woodmead. Okay, that's funny. Said this program will destroy families. I did, didn't I, Utopi? Yep. Back on February 7th. A lot of approved refugee cases with canceled tickets because of the shutdown have still not heard. Well, I wouldn't say a lot. Some. That's correct. Talita, Kroni, you are correct. Some have. And I would have run the program differently. They would have been the first people on the plane, but I'm not running the program. And sometimes one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing. So that's just the truth of the matter. All we can do is remind them that that's the case, and I've been doing that. I met H2A workers at interviews that had come back specifically for the interviews. Yeah, that's what I advise people to do. Looks like they listened to my advice. An older friend of mine was the same, but eventually came around, still won't leave, though. Well, they don't have to leave. I'm not asking anybody to leave South Africa. I don't want anybody to leave South Africa. But I do want people to know the truth. Charles Krieger says it came at the right time for South Africans. Oh, okay. All right. She sent me an email. Okay, let me look and see. Okay, let me do that very quickly before I go anywhere here. Let me look and see if I have an email from her because I don't recall that. I'll stop it. What's going on here? Okay, let me look and see because I'm not finding anything under that. So, CHARISSE, CHARISSE. I have no email from someone with that name. I'll try Potgieter. Maybe she doesn't have it in her email. Potgieter. Nothing comes. God bless it. Nothing comes up under that. Potgieter. I have no email from anybody by that name. No email by anybody from that name. I just searched in my email account. Lorraine, I don't know nothing. So I don't know what she told you, but she didn't send me an email, or she typed it in wrong. There's only one email to send it to. If she sent it to Outlook or to another address, I don't see it. I've warned people. I've told them not to go looking for email addresses. I only answer questions. Now I just habitually ignore them. I can't answer 5,000 email questions related to things unrelated to my personal mail. So if she sends me an email to the email that's on this account, if one of the mods could put that in, that would be helpful. But I have no email. I've looked up Charisse and I've looked up Potgieter, and neither one of them turns up a single email. Yep. Anyway, so what happens if the people that have 50? Well, that's Redmond. We've covered that many, many times. You have to have release authority, a legal release authority from the parent, or you're not taking any kids out of the country. That's a South African law, not our law. I haven't had seen much. Oh, I've seen all your country, Karen. So, except for Kruger. You're welcome, Mark. Appreciate it. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink. Exactly. There's Hendo's put the email address up. Lorraine, if you could share that with your daughter and make sure that's where the address goes. Okay. Copy and paste it. Don't try to type it again. Okay. I'm the only one in the family who applied. Okay, Jax. Adriana's energy and positivity is top notch. She deserves a regular slot in your channel if she can. The best interview so far. I don't know if it was the best interview. It was pretty good. We've had some very good interviews. All right. When you don't know that you don't know the things you are supposed to know, you invariably believe that you know everything there is to know. That's well said, Monster Max. RSC a week. Give them busy time. Thanks for all the interviews. You're very welcome. Also, Pat Malone on this program. Okay, Stephen, thank you. People return because of incorrect info from family and then leave again after staying here and experience for themselves. Been there, got the t-shirt. Uncle Chris only gives the truth, nothing but the truth and the whole truth. Yeah, that's what I try to do. All right, guys, 456 likes. Can you hit the like button? Come on. This was a big stream with a lot of people watching it. We can do better than 500 likes, can't we? I mean, we can do better than that, can we not? Let's see, 3,600 people. Well, that sounds terrible.
That was easy.
That's better. Boy, that first one sounded bad. So how are we doing on that? We got 473 likes. That's it. Come on. We still got... how many people are still here? We got 716 people here. And thank you all for the super chats. I appreciate that. 700 people. If some of you haven't pushed that like button, come on, hit that like button. All right. That's going to do it for today, Boxing Day. We've still got big programs coming in. No rugby broadcast this weekend. I'll be watching, but I won't be broadcasting the Leinster game, the Ulster game. Those are games these teams are making up from when this week was canceled earlier this year. The South African teams are in action next week. I'll be back with that. All right. Neither has family. None of us immediate danger, and also don't want to leave this country. I get there are people that needs this. It's not my family. Well, then Aurora, then you're good to go. I'm not asking anybody to leave. Sweet dreams. Easy sound a bit congested there. Yeah, it did sound like my easy button had asthma. My easy button had asthma. So okay, now we're over 500 likes. Thank you guys for that. People forget about doing the like button. I've heard from Amerikaners that you should receive contact 10 to 30 days after filling the questionnaire, but I suppose they're over. Well, the Amerikaners, Potgieters, have only like 3 people working for them, or 4 people, okay? You guys acting like they have a team of 1,000, okay? And RSC doesn't have that many. So, I mean, they only have a couple dozen people working on it. All right, cool beans. That's it. Merry Christmas, belated. Happy New Year to everybody. And hang in there. I think it's going to be all right, okay? It's going to be all right. Don't take any wood nickels. God bless. I got to go out in the snow and check on something before it piles up. All right? Your landlord lady knows you a long time for rugby ascendant. Oh, okay. Cool. Your landlord knows me, Karen. That's good to know. Looking forward to going to live hockey matches. Love the Dallas Stars. Okay, I like the Vegas Golden Knights, and I also like the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Colorado Avalanche, and the Utah Mammoth. But my team is Vegas. Free Bev, okay. Bev, you send me a lot of emails, so I'll look to see which one it is, okay? And a lot of messages. All right, guys, take care. Thanks for being here. My thanks to my guest, Adriana, who was fantastic. Really enjoyed the conversation. You guys take care. And thanks for paying it back. It's really awesome. Pay it back to help others. Cheers.